As with clothing, we are going to use transparent layers to build up our face and hair. So I am starting by laying in a thin brown wash, focusing on places where there are shadows on the face, under the eyebrows, kind of on the sides of the face, down into the neck. I'm not filling in all of the face yet, and on the arms, just like I did with the pants, I am kind of keeping those shadows on the parts of the arm that are receding away from the eye of the viewer. So creating that visual trick and making them feel round. While you don't have wrinkles, I do break up the lines when I hit joints. So there's little overlappy bits, breaks at the elbows and wrist, to kind of indicate the wrinkles in the skin, because the skin wrinkles. Here I've got a peachy color. I'm adding a little bit of pink to it because it's a little too yellowy. So keeping it pretty thin, because again, you want to keep your paint translucent. And I'm going to go in and I am going to give a good wash over those shadows on the arms, on the face. I'm not worrying too much about going into the hair, because you can see a little bit of the skin through the hair at the edges, so it's okay to go in. I am pulling out places where it feels a little too heavy. Here it bled past the arm, so I'm just lifting away the extra so you can see the paper underneath. A little bleed out over there too, so I'm taking care of it. And I'm going to put some brown in the hair. Kind of marking out the edges because it's kind of dark. Sort of darker than I intended, but I'm working with it. So I'm not going to lay it in super solid because it's going to be really heavy if I do it all this. So I'm going to pull out some paint and I'm going to feather and fill in. So by feathering and filling in, you see it's dark on those edges and light in the middle. And it automatically creates some volume. I am really making this up as I go along. This wasn't a really planned out design. Futson. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Yes, I was looking at brushes because that brush was too big, so I'm going to a smaller brush, getting the end pointy. And you'll find through the video I keep going to smaller and smaller brushes. Faces are small and faces have lots of details, so you're going to keep working down smaller and smaller to do the stuff. Here, like I did on the pants, focusing on sort of the wrinkles and the creases, I'm focusing with some sepia, some browns to shadow in on the arms and give it some more depth. I'm going to do the same up on the face. There's a little hollow of the neck. There's under the jaw. There's a little bit of a tendon on the neck, and then the sides of the neck, which are receding from the viewer, and therefore are going to have a bit of shadow. I'm going to shadow under the eyebrows. I'm going to shadow under and sort of behind the nose because the face is in 3/4. There's the temple, there's the cheekbone, so some shadows there on the side of the face. Little shadow under the nose and some shadow on the side of the nose. I am picking up some light pink because we do have blood that runs through our face, so we want to have a little bit of blush. It's pretty thin, and I'm going to put sort of a big triangle of this thin pink. At the moment, it looks really extreme, but then I'm going to soak up the extra water, leaving behind a fainter, more subtle pink blush. You can put blush other places too. Elbows, hands, nose, ears. It gives a little bit of life. Because if it has no pink at all, it tends to look a little sickly or jaundiced. So that little bit of pink goes a long way. I have decided to add some details to the, well, I'm working on the neck, but the brown works, so I'm putting some details on the shirt too. I'm like, I could clean that up. So I'm just going to go in, clean up some edges, refine some shadows, because, hey, I'm here, I got the color, why not do the thing? Painting in an eyebrow, and I'm going in to darken the shadow on the nose a bit more, and I don't like it. So the next couple frames are me fussing with it because I don't like it. And you can see how with lifting you can erase mistakes if you're fast enough. If you wait too long, it gets harder. But here I am making it less bold, because it was pretty darn bold, and so I was not really happy with it. So you can still see the nose, but it's not quite as in your face. Here I'm looking at smaller brushes. I like this one. So I'm going to use this little skinny brush to work on details. I think it's a size 0 round. I'm doing a lot of work with my dark brown. I'm going to outline the eye and the eyelid. I'm going to hit that cheekbone again. I'm going to draw the midline of the mouth and the lower lip, because those are the shadowiest parts of the mouth. Fussing with the nose. This nose and I had a fight. That's all I'm saying. But I tend to do a lot of my detailing with brown on the face. Really fine. It's, again, not the most realistic. I stylize because, well, realism takes more time, and ain't nobody got time for that. I'm going in with a darker brown and drawing in some individual hairs to give the hair some more texture, and I'm kind of drawing curvy lines that are following the swoop of the bangs or the swoop of the ponytail, and I'm flicking out some thin lines that look like little stray hairs. So it's not, like molded Barbie hair, but there's some stray hairs, and that gives it, again, the illusion of realism without being super realistic. Still fussing with the nose. I'm liking it better. Don't love it, but I'm liking it better. I'm picking up some pink and putting some pink on the lips, because again, on your mouth you're going to see some more pink, just like you do on the cheeks. Adding some detail on the eyes. These are all really small, really fine details, because eyes are itty bitty. I actually went all the way to black for the top lash line, and I've got a little bit of black in her dark hair to do some little fine hairs, which really help create depth and really help set that ponytail apart from the hair on her head. Some fine lines and details so things don't blend too much together. And I've got a relatively concentrated red on this thin brush, and I'm drawing the lash, the lip line, so I've got a more defined lip. And then lastly, I am going to, it's been dried on the palette, so I got to get the white reactivated, but I want a really nice, thick, opaque white paint, and I'm going to use that, see I'm still fussing with it, to put a little dot of white on the eye, and that little dot of white will kind of bring the eye to life, give it a little light reflection, especially on the back eye, which is sort of hidden in shadow, so that way the two eyes have a little glint on top.